Hey everyone, Platter Sam. Welcome to my condensed video build of Alfa Model's Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. So yeah, as I say, this is the shorter condensed version of the 3-part video build series I've got over on my Patreon. So it's a 40-minute video, much more condensed, doesn't go as in-depth as the other videos do. If you want to watch the more in-depth video, you can come with Patreon, the link down below. There's loads of other perks which I'll talk about in the videos we go through. But in this one, we're going to start at the beginning, all the way through right to the end of this wonderful Alfa Models kit. I've had this kit for ages and been dying for building for quite some time. And the colour I'm going to do it in, I've had in my mind from the day I bought this kit. So let's jump into the kit. If you want to look at a review of this, it's back on the ISM channel from a few months ago, I think it was. It looks a great kit, like I say, but let's crack on and get started with the build. Right then, so we're back in it. Usual preparation on these kits, they need very minimal cleanup. So I tend to give them a quick rescribe, which again isn't necessary. But I think it helps to clean out the panel lines a little bit. They do get a little bit of resin in there sometimes, and it is quite nice to deepen them. We'll then scuff up the surface with a Tamiya 3000 grit sponge sander. That way we get a nice surface to key, nice key surface to prime to, and remove any nasties that might be on the surface. But like I say, very, very clean kits. Remove any dust and residue from the panel lines and the gaps and what have you with an old toothbrush. And then use some Pro Scale Paint pre-paint degreaser. And a toothbrush, we're going to go around, not ruin my blue mat, and getting all the nooks and crannies and give it all a thorough degrease. Once we've done that, we get a nice clean bit of tissue, give it a wipe over, and then a dry bit of tissue to dry it off. And that way we get rid of any residue that may be left behind from the moulding process, and any fingerprints, Cheeto stains, chocolate marks, and other paraphernalia left behind from modelling. We're in the spray booth now. We've got a nice dark grey primer. I have mixed this out of black and grey Pro Scale Paints primer. I wanted a nice dark primer for this green, so this is the colour I got by mixing just a little bit by eye until I got the colour I wanted. Got my Iwata Revolution 0.3. We're over 18 psi, and we're going to put several coats down of Pro Scale primer. So nice thin coats is the way to do this. You don't want to hose it on, especially on resin. It's a super slick, smooth surface, so nice thin coats. Get a nice light coat down to begin with, and then you can build it up as you go through. Pay attention more on the nooks and crannies and trying to hose the paint on. You'll get your coverage as you go through your different coats. So the first coats will go side to side. We're going to get in all our wheel arch as well, the bottom of the sills and all those gaps and the panel lines and the vents and what have you. Second coat will go up and down, and we'll alternate between coats. Split this bit of footage up because otherwise it's a bit boring sitting watching me prime something. But the coverage of our prime is absolutely fantastic. Like I say, I'm at about 18 psi. And the coverage is great. You can see this is a really nice dark grey mix of our primers, and I think this is quite vital for this colour that we're going to use for this car. So the colour I've had in mind for this car I've had since day one of getting this kit. This kit's really hard to find. I was lucky enough to get it quite some time ago, and it sat in my stash waiting for the day for me to build it, and obviously that day has come to fruition. So here we are, building this beautiful Alfa Romeo Giulia. So like I said, we've concentrated on all those nooks and crannies, lots of different angles to get in. Just concentrating on getting all the coverage rather than getting coats down. Like I say, your coverage will come with each coat. We're going to put about 3, maybe 4 coats on this, just building it up. We'll leave about 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes between coats. And obviously you've got any other parts like these wing mirrors and what have you, we'll spray those separate. Here we go. This is after our final coat. So we're about 4 coats in here, and just go around and make sure we're thorough and got everywhere covered. And as you can see, as you get onto your final coat, you can put a little bit more primer down. Don't go crazy though. There's no need to go crazy. You're not hosing this on. We'll allow that to dry for at least 6 hours, and then we've got our same Tamiya 3000 grit sanding sponge. I'm just going to lightly key the surface. Now again, this will key the surface for paint going forward, and it'll also remove any blemishes that may have landed in the primer. You might get, bits of dust or debris landing in there, and that way you'll get rid of any high spots your airbrush may have spit, anything can happen while you're airbrushing. So key the surface. Now we've got Pro Scale paints, Alfa Romeo Montreal Green. This is an absolutely stunning colour. I mixed this specifically for myself originally. I always recommend using a Badger paint mixer to mix our paint up to make sure you get a nice thorough mix. And then a pipette to decant the paint from the bottle to the airbrush as well. Don't pour from the bottle to the airbrush. You'll end up with a crusty rim, and nobody likes a dirty, crusty rim, do they, at all? Quick blow over with the air of the airbrush. Same eye water evolution. This is my 0.3 again. We're at 18 psi, and we're going to put down several light coats, exactly like we did with the primer. We're not hosing the paint on. We're not trying to get it covered in one go. We're concentrating on getting coverage. So all around those windows, all along the sills, the inner arches, everywhere, door handles, panel lines, everywhere. And like I said before, we're going to alternate between left and right and up and down passes. The only difference with the painted primer is we are going to put a few more coats down. This paint will get more and more beautiful the more coats we put down. Now, I put the darker grey primer down because I think this requires a darker base. I think it's going to help with the colour. And trust me, when you see this thing at the end, it's going to absolutely pop. The colour is absolutely fantastic. Our paints are pre-thinned for use. They are not over thin like a lot of manufacturers do. So you get excellent coverage on this. No problem at all. Like I say, nice thin coats, just build it up. All our metallic flakes are to scale as well. They're all scaled down appropriately for 24th scale. So you won't get any oversized speckled clown far paints in our range. I've had many in the past out of some other paints. You certainly will get that with Pro Scale, and they are nice and simple to use. We've got over 250 paints in our catalogue now, and we do customer requests as well. So if you've got any paints you want doing, try and find the code for it or the vehicle it's from. Drop us a message either on Facebook or via the contact form on our website, and we'll do our utmost to find a paint for you and get it matched on our site. So there's roughly one coat gone down there. We've got some good coverage already. The colour looks a bit dull and boring for now, but trust me, it will get a lot more interesting later on. And of course, if you've got any other parts that need painting at the same time, wing mirrors and what have you, now's the time to do them. So with the paints, I tend to find if we put nice thin coats on, it flashes off very, very fast. So you don't need to leave it to flash off. You can see there, just on that second coat, the colour instantly starting to come to life. It really does just get better and better, this colour, the more coats of paint that go down. So yeah, 2-3 minutes to flash off. As long as you put nice light coats down, this will flash off very, very quick. Obviously, if it's a warmer climate, your paint will dry quicker as well. But you're best suited knowing where you normally spray. The UK is very temperate on temperature, so it's quite constant and quite safe for painting. But yeah, this colour would just get better and better with every coat. So like I say, getting underneath all the nooks and crannies, all the vents, all the panel lines, anywhere and everywhere that needs painting. And again, our wing mirrors, a separate part. Every time put a coat of paint down, put another coat down on top. So I reckon this is about coat number 4. As you can see, we're going up and down passes now as well. And you can see the colour starting to get some real nice depth here. Starting to look beautiful. We do have some carbon accents on the car as well, which we'll do once we are painted. And here we go. This is probably one of our final coats of paint. And you can see that beautiful, absolutely stunning metallic green coming to life now. So glad I went with the darker grey primer. I think it just makes the colour pop that little bit more. And just what an absolutely stunning colour. This is the colour to have for this car. If I was to buy this car, which, yeah, it's a car I would own. I do like my fast saloons. I would go for this colour. This would be my choice. I think it's an absolutely stunning colour and looks absolutely beautiful on this car. So as you can see on this, there's lots of nooks and crannies, all those vents on the front, headlights, vents on the bonnet. You just need to make sure you're nice and thorough and get everywhere covered. But the most important thing I can stress about any painting is just nice light thin coats. There's no benefit in hosing these paints on. You're not going to get a gloss finish from it. Your gloss comes from your clear coat, which we'll do later on. Nice thin light coats built up will give you a much better superior paint finish than hosing it on. And again, every time you do a coat of paint on the car, do a coat of paint on the mirrors. So with the car body painted, we're moving on to all the parts that are going to be carboned. I'm going to put down a coat of, I think this is Mr. Surfacer 1500 black, and prime all those bits up. Paint's dried. We're about 6 hours later now, and we're going to carbon the roof. So I've got some Tamiya carbon decal. I've cut it roughly to size. As you can see, I'm just having a look. We're going to pop this on. We're going to carbon the roof, and we're going to carbon some of the other parts. So we've got a rear spoiler, we've got a front splitter, and we've got some side skirts to do as well. So really easy to use the Tamiya carbon. Absolutely loves the Ultimate Decal Solutions. Can't recommend those decal solutions enough. They tame most decals with ease. So we've got the normal, strong, and extra strong in the solutions. We're hitting this with the normal for now, and we're just concentrating on getting those front edges folded over, get rid of any bubbles and creases in the top, and then we'll mark and cut the sides in the roof gutters where they need doing. So we'll burnish it down with our water brush. Once we've got it burnished down, we've got a fresh scalpel blade in our scalpel, and using the panel line on the roof for the gutter, we're just going to follow it nice and gentle. No real pressure, let the blade do the work. It is a razor sharp blade. While we're there, we'll do into the windows as well. Now, because this is still wet, it may move a touch. This is where experience comes in useful. Just taking your time. Can be a bit of a hold your breath movement while you're doing it. There you go. And then we'll do the front and the other side at the same time. Just take your time. Make sure you've got a fresh scalpel blade in there. And then once you've got it off, grab your tweezers and you can pull that bit off. We've got one last piece to do this side. Just here. Just be positive in what you're doing. Follow that panel line nice and slowly. There we go. Then grab your tweezers and then gently pull the cut decal away. Don't pull it really roughly because you've got a good chance it'll tear the decal. If it's not quite been cut, you're better off going slow because then you can just give a little nick with the scalpel like that a bit there. I know if I just pull it gently, it'll come off. And go around and then get your brush and just burnish the edges down nice and gently until they're all burnished into place. And then fold it over like so. Job done. Let the decal solution do its job and set it all in place. And there we go. Now, another great addition to doing decals is a heat gun like this. These are cheap off Amazon. Just low heat. You don't want a lot of heat at all. The decals don't need a lot. It helps to dry them out quicker, helps to soften the decal and get it in place as well. And it's good for getting rid of moisture from under the decal as well. We've got a few decals on the side. We've got the clover leaves that go on the side wings, like so. And for some reason, there's another one lower down, which is exactly the same, just smaller. I'm not sure what the reason for that is, but hey, I'm just following the instructions. We've then got the Alfa badge on the back. I think it's, I think it said was this the Giulia badge? I think it was on the back. Laid in place, and they were all set in place with the decal solutions as well. We've got all our parts carbon here now as well. We've gone through and carboned them all. Don't forget, there are full-length how-to videos on this build over on my Patreon. This is just a short, condensed version. The whole build in 40 minutes. There are 3 separate 30-minute videos on my Patreon of this exact build where I go a lot more in depth than what I'm doing. So if you want to become a patron of mine, you can join in the link down below. Pick the applicable tier, and you get access to all the benefits of the full-length videos, early access videos up to a month. You get access to a exclusive supporter Facebook chat and a Friday patron bench update, which I do every single Friday, and it's a bit more personal than my usual bench updates. You can also request reviews, and you keep me doing this. Without your support, I couldn't do this. So mainly, if you want access to the full-length videos, you can get those in the link down below. We've gone around with the Tamiya panel line wash, pop that in, let it dry, and wiped off the excess. And here we are the following morning, and we are going to 2K this. So we've got the Pro Scale Paints 2K system. This is a 2-to-1 mix of clear to activator. So if you mix, say, 6 milliliters of the clear coat, you want 3 milliliters of the activator. So we're using medical grade medicine cups because you know they don't react to the activator in the 2K. We've got medical grade pipettes as well, which we are measuring perfectly the quantities required, like so. Use a fresh pipette for each substance, and then once you've mixed it, throw it away. Don't reuse that for another. Don't put the activator pipette in the thinner because you'll contaminate the bottle and absolutely ruin what's in there. So once we've mixed the clear and the activator together, like so, we'll throw the pipette away. We've got a fresh pipette for the thinner, and the thinner is 5% of the total mix. So if you have 9 ml of clear and hardener, 10% of that would be 0.9 milliliters, 5% of that is 0.45. Very little thinner in our clear coat. And again, mix that together and throw that pipette away forever and never reuse it. Nice and simple to do. Our clear coat is absolutely fantastic. We're going to strain it through one of our 190 micron paint strainers. You can get crusty bits of activator on the lid of the activator from time to time. So it is worth straining to get rid of any nasties that may be in the bottle. We've got our Tamiya anti-static brush. You can see just how beautiful that green is. The carbon work is all glued in place now. The front split is on, rear spoiler, the side skirts are in place, and our roof as well. I would suggest leaving at least 24 to 48 hours before 2K and decaling. After decaling, sorry, because you can get moisture under the 2K, under the decal that the 2K will not like. So the first coat of our 2K is a semi-wet coat. This is how our system works. I've got my Iwata 0.5 Revolution, and I'm at about 23, 24 PSI. I'm going to put a semi-wet coat down on the whole model. I'm going to speed this second part up because you've seen this many times. And it's a case of just getting a nice semi-gloss coat all over. Taking your time. Try and keep your edges wet. The next coat should follow the last one and just overlap it slightly. That way you end up with a wet coat leading edge every time. And again, focus on all those nooks and crannies as well, getting all the 2K in there, all the wheel arches, all in the vents and the panel lines and what have you. And just take your time, working your way around systematically. Make sure your model is securely mounted. Mine is mounted on a 3M pad on a little stand I've made. And that is mounted to the body with 3M pads as well, very securely mounted. I've got my plastic box to the left, my filters on, my air boots on, sorry. I've got my full face Scott respirator on, my arms covered, I've double gloved on each hand as well. I'm in my own modelling cave on my own. I have a window that is cracked ever so slightly for ventilation. And I've got my AS300 bench vent on. Got a little box to the left for putting the body in while it off gases to save any dust landing on it. I've also got all the other parts to 2K as well, the carbon parts. Now, we did paint the wing mirrors green originally. They should be carbons. They've been carboned. The door mirrors we completely forgot about when we were painting it, so they've been done afterwards. And all the other carbon bits and bobs are in there as well. Second coat, which has been left to... Sorry, the first coat was left to off gas for 5 minutes. We're doing the second coat now, which is a full wet coat. Don't be too hung up on getting the full wet coat on this one. Just give it a full wet coat all the way around. Overlapping edges, again, keep that wet edge all the way around. I find it best to do this, put it back in the case for a minute, let it all self-level, get it back out, and just look and see if there's anywhere else that needs a little bit more. You can put more on, it doesn't have to be 2 coats. But I'd rather put it down for a minute, let it self-level, and then put another coat of 2K down. I find that way you get a much thinner 2K. Our 2K is like magic. I don't know what it is about it, but you can really push how much 2K you put down, and it still dries super thin, super fast, and super hard. It's a very, very good 2K. It's easy for me to say because it's my system. Yes, I know. But it is unbelievably good and unbelievably forgiving as well. So if you're looking for a new 2K, try ProScale Paints 2K. There's a link in the description down below. You will not regret getting our 2K. It's absolutely phenomenal. So we pop that back in the box for 60 seconds. You can see we've got a very, very good clear coat there. That colour is looking phenomenal. And I'm using the light in my booth just to look around everywhere. I'm looking for any orange peel or anything that isn't quite glass-like. And if I see anything, I'll give it another little light spray like I'm about to. So there you go. It's a little bit more across the front of that windscreen and the top of the bonnet as well. Doesn't have to be a lot of paint. just needs that little bit more sometimes just to get it to self-level perfectly. So don't be afraid of putting it down for 60 seconds. Let self-leveling properties work and then putting a little bit more paint on. But just look how glorious that looks. The colour is absolutely stunning on this car. Like I say, this is the colour I'd envisaged for this car from the day I bought it. And Pro Scale Paints doesn't disappoint, as always. Beautiful colour, very finely pigmented metallics, and the clear coat is looking absolutely fantastic. You can see a little bit of orange peel on that bonnet still. I think it needs a touch more, but it may well self-level out. I'm just having a little look, and then do the same on all your little parts as well. I then like to kind of clean the airbrush up off camera, yada yada yada, and then another 90 seconds, take it out and have one more look again. Now we've got all the other parts of the kit all cleaned up and mounted for primer, and we've got some Mr. Surfacer 1500 black here going down. I tend to clean up in batches now and paint in batches. It's just so much easier. Clean every part up, get it mounted, and then paint every part. It's just so much easier. We're priming the calipers in white Tamiya primer. Everything else is done in black, Mr. Surfacer 1500 black. We've got some window surrounds here, another PE that we're priming in Pro Scale Paint's Photo Etch primer. So this is a etch primer specifically formulated for photo etch. Again, nice and thin, doesn't clog all the nice detail like those drilled discs, but does give a very resilient primer coat to the photo etch, which definitely helps with assembling parts because you've got less chance of any paint chipping off. So literally all the PE is mounted, all the other parts are mounted. The window wipers are made up as well. Again, I've got the video of these being made over on my Patreon. You can go over there and have a look. Like I say, there are much more in-depth videos of this build over there. And to get early access to the videos, it will cost you as little as £3 a month. There we go, several coats of that. On the interior, we are going with Napa Black leather. So a couple of coats of this on the back seats. And the front seats as well. As you can see, everything else is being painted up as well. I did also formulate a new colour for the wheels as well. We're going with dark gunmetal on the wheels. But like I say, all the leather is going to be Napa Black leather inside. It is my favourite Pro Scale Paints leather colour. It's like a very off black grey colour. Like I say, with the wheels, I developed a dark gunmetal finish because that's what the real wheels look like. So the beauty of having your own paint system is you can literally sit and make your own paint. So yes, it is a nice perk to have. So this is, that's all those painted up. The discs were done in Pro Scale Carbon Ceramic as well. Again, another great paint out of our range. A couple of light coats of that, we'll get that sorted. For the light reflectors, we've got Pro Scale Bright Aluminium. I am trying to develop a full range of metallics. We're getting there. We've got a few more that have been added recently as well. And then any other parts that need to be black were painted in LP5 semi-gloss black from Tamiya. Just several light coats building up. This is my Water HPC Plus. Rear diffuser is just a semi-gloss black. I'm very relieved to say it's not carbon, because it would have been a bit of a pig to do. And then with the brake discs off, we can paint all the rest of the grills and what have you in semi-gloss black Tamiya as well. And then finally, the window surrounds we're doing in GX2 gloss black. So a couple of coats of this, followed by a wet coat at the end. And there we go. Brake calipers are painted in Pro Scale Paints Brembo Yellow. We've got some decals to go in there. A few dabs of CA glue on the discs. And we can pop our carbon ceramic PE discs in place. Use my Boltsmith's Gold odorless non-fogging CA glue there. So we pop those on. For the rear exhaust, I've got the Pro Scale Paints Chrome system, which I'm putting in several light coats down. Absolutely beautiful chrome finish. Then we've got our Pro Scale Paints sealer for the chrome. So you put your chrome down, let off gas for 40 minutes, and then pour 3 light coats of the chrome sealer down. We've got some Mr. Hobby UV cut clear coat there on the wheels and the calipers. So put a couple of coats down, a couple of tack coats down, followed by a couple of wet coats to get a nice glossy finish. And as an experiment, I tried this gloss on the chrome. Doesn't work as well as the 2K. The 2K is the way to go with our chrome system. But just thought for an experiment, I'd try it, and it worked okay. It didn't work too bad at all. So top tip, when you put your calipers on, choose the mounting point where it's attached to the paw plug. Put your glue there, and then you won't see that. You don't need to touch it up or paint it. And there we go, easy assembly on these. Then on the back, you've got the hub. Make sure you check you've got the correct hubs in the right position. Refer to the instructions. And then it's a case of the connection point for the hub on the caliper, and then making sure it's central on the caliper, the disc as well. And just a quick promo shot for Facebook. I thought I'd take a picture of my beautiful dark gunmetal wheels and discs and calipers. As you can see, a little bit of a paint spillage in the booth. Yes, there's been a bit of a spillage. Now, a bit of an experiment here, different paint, and this should be available from ProScale soon. It's a Alcantara black leather paint, so it's a slightly textured paint. So all these textured paints, I always find they work better from a distance. It's just the way they work. The air helping to dry along the way seems to work well. So I've masked off the outside of the seats to leave the centers exposed. And I'm going to put several coats of this down. Complete experiment to see what it looked like. Same on the steering wheel. There's a little section on the steering wheel that's Alcantara as well. And it was purely an experiment to see what it worked like. And it actually worked really well. So on the doors, I've got some ProScale Paints black primer. So the centers of the door cards have been done in the Napa black. And I'm just doing this bit of trim in the ProScale black to give a different variation in tone. And there we go. There's our seats. Look at that. We've got the Napa black leather on the outside. We've got a few chips we need to take care of where I've caught it with the tweezers. But I think the Alcantara centers look pretty good. I added a Tamiya grey wash to them as well. So that was put on, allowed to dry, and then wiped off with a cotton bud moistened with odorless mineral spirits. And again, I think it looked really good. It accentuated the stitching that's embossed on the leather. It didn't look bad at all. And here we go. So about a week later, we can flap back our 2K. We've got some Trizic pads. We've got the 3, 6 and 8000 here. We've got some fresh water with a couple of drops of dish soap in. Dawn, Fairy Liquid, wherever it's called, where you're from. And we're going to go around and lightly flat back the 2K. We're going to get rid of any dust or hairs that may have landed in the 2K. Flat it back and polish up to a high shine. That way, we lose a bit of the thickness of the 2K, which 2K can look a bit thick at times. But if you flat it back properly and polish it up, it gives it a much more realistic look. So working our way through the different grits of the Trizic pads. These pads are phenomenal. Very, very efficient. Really easy to work with. We're just going to flat it back nice and slowly until we're happy with the finish. Should end up with a nice dulled, even paintwork. And then dry it off. Have a look. If you need to do it again, do it again. If you're happy with how it looks, leave it be. And we can come in with the ultimate polish system and polish it all up. So with that all polished up, we are in the booth and we have got everything masked up for all our window surrounds. We've got some Mr. Hobby 1500 black and a couple of light coats down to get all the window trims done. I much prefer doing this after the 2K now. I'm finding it's working a lot better. It gives the windows something a bit more to grab onto with the CA glue. We start building up our interior now as well. So steering wheel in place, get the seats in place. The interior has been flocked by my wonderful assistant Hannah with ProScale's anthracite black flocking, which again looks absolutely beautiful on the interior. And then we've got our seatbelt buckles in place as well. They're a little bit tricky to glue in. They tend to stick to everything but where you want them to go. And then our center console in place there. Quite a nice interior on this car. It can vary on some of the modern cars. They can be a bit bland and boring, but this one's actually got quite a nice, pretty interior. Painted the center part of the steering wheel silver as well. And then we can move on to some of the outer trim parts. We've got some grills and what have you here. On the exterior, there's been glued in place with some Bob Smith Super Gold. Like I say, this is a very quick condensed build of this. If you want to see the full build, you can become a patron. It's in the description, and you get access to all the full-length videos. Headlights in place, headlight glass, has been cut out and cleaned up, and we'll go around it with a black Sharpie to simulate the rubber gasket on the edge. And then with a couple of strategic places of Bob Smiths, we can get the lights glued in place. Like so. This is a very important time to be wary of where your fingers are going. You don't want to get glue on them and sticking to the beautiful bodywork. The interior, I tend to just paint with Mr. Colour Black, thinned with a drop of water, brush painted on with a nice flat brush. It does the job perfectly. And then one of the finishing touches for the interior is our seat belts. I hate the photo etch material that come with the Alpha kit, so I just use some 2mm black ribbon and use the photo etch hardware for the belts that comes in the kit. Some double-sided tape helps to stick this in place perfectly. And then the dashboard slots in first. There is a particular order these need to go. Always make sure you test fit these parts. I built them the wrong way once, so I tend to find the dashboard goes in first, then the door cards either side. Test fit everything before you commit to any glue. Once we've got the door cards in, we put our seatbelt in the B pillar as well, like so. Double-sided tape again and the 2mm ribbon. Just snip off any excess at the bottom. And then we can slot in our interior tub, like so. And then we can glue that in place with some CA glue. So fairly simple. Just make sure you test fit everything before you commit to glue. I've been there before and nothing fits. So yeah, that way of just assemble thing tends to be the way these go, these kits, on how they're actually assembled. So with some CA glue at the front, we've got a little bit of CA clicker on a micro brush. And then our screw holes, which we have widened with our Proxxon drill. Well, actually my little battery powered drill. Widened it to just under the size of the screws. Whatever you do, if you feel any resistance off the screws or try and put it in the wrong hole like I have there. Yep. Stop what you're doing and re-drill the hole. The rear diffuser fits in very well. Doesn't even really need any glue. And then the hubs, again, refer to the instructions. Make sure you get the correct ones in the right place. Look at the direction of the hub, the calipers, etc., etc. And just double check everything goes in the correct way. If you have any doubt whatsoever, stop. Now you did see a little bit of resin there. You will not see that at all on the built model, so don't worry too much. All our wheels are in place. As you can see, that front right wheel is sticking out a little bit too much on this car, so I grabbed a UMP white thinny stick and just took to work in sanding down the hub a little bit. It actually took quite a bit of removal of material to get it to sit flush. Just how these kits go from time to time. And then the windscreens, I've covered these many times. Again, if you want to see it in more depth, you can go to my Patreon. But a couple of dabs in the locating points are Bob Smith's Gold non-fogging CA glue. Keep your fingers off the acetate glass. Do not touch it, whatever you do. If you get a fingerprint on the inside, you will never be able to get rid of it because there's no way to access the inside of the car now. So I would put some tape on like I have there, with masking tape on the exterior. There is a film on the outside of the glass, so marks on the outside won't matter. And just hold it like this. Do not touch underneath it at all. I've already test fitted this to make sure it fits okay. And then in one confident, swift move, place it in, get a cotton bud to hold it in place like so. Just hold it for a few seconds and let the glue grab everything. You need to be a bit of an octopus here doing this. You need to hold several things at once. Just take your time until the glue grabs. It does take a while to grab the Bob Smiths. So just please take your time. Same on the side and the rear windows as well. Just strategic places of the CA glue. You don't need a lot at all. Less is definitely more when it comes to CA glue. Nothing will ruin a model quicker than CA glue. It is a sad fact. Like I say, just make a little handle out of some masking tape and hold it in place. Now, one mistake I did make was putting the wing mirrors on. they should go on after the clear parts go, and there is a trim that goes around it. I had to cut it to get it to fit. It's just one of those things. Rear lights have been painted red, and Tamiya X27, and then we're going to go around the outside of the lens with the marker pen again, and then a couple of dabs of Bob Smith's, strategically placed in corners, very sparsely. You do not need a lot at all. It's literally to hold it in place. It is not a structural part. You just want to hold it in place. So a couple of very small dabs, and then grab the light. Make sure you got the right one. I like to get one corner in first, then push the next one in like so. Hold it for a few seconds. Again, be careful when you glue on your fingertips. Same on the other side, and then we can start putting some of our badges in place. So if it's a normal decal, it'll go under the 2K. If it's a metallic badge, it will go on top. That's how I work. Door handles, again, test fitted. Made sure they're the right way around. A little dab of Bob Smith's in the hole, and then carefully placed in with the tweezers. And then the trim around the windows. As you can see, I've had to trim the front off. I did make a mistake putting the mirrors on first. I should have waited. But all I did was trimmed it off with the Zoron PE shears. And I have a couple of dabs, very light dabs of Bob Smith's. We're going to place it onto the back section first. I've already test fitted to make sure it fits. Test fit everything on these kits. And then the satisfying part on these is pulling off the film when you're nearly done. So I get a blade under the edge of the glass very carefully, and then just gently remove all the film. And then probably the most annoying part of these kits is these window wipers. I don't mind making them anymore. Gluing the buggers in place is a pain in the backside. I'm getting better because I'm tending to get them in a lot quicker, but they just tend to just not want to stick and just fall and flop around everywhere. These ones weren't too bad. I think I actually got these in first time, so very happy there. And then we've got our little shark fin antenna for the roof as well, like so. So a little dab of glue in its locating point, and then just push it home gently. And the final touch, some UMP Shine Spray. This is my preferred wax of choice. The spray wax, don't spray it on the model, spray it on your cloth. I've got a nice glasses cleaning cloth here, microfiber of the highest quality. You can get these on Amazon, and they are perfect for these final polishes. And just gently go around. Now, a word of warning, those window wipers you struggle to put in place, they love to be snagged by these cloths and pulled off. So just take your time. This isn't an abrasive polish at all. It's not even a polish, it's just like a spray wax. It just needs to be wiped on, let it haze up and wipe off. So just go around the whole model, covering it in the wax, let it haze up, and then buff it to a nice high shine. Colour of this car is absolutely stunning, it really is. The video doesn't do it justice. The photos at the end do, because it just shows its true colour. But it really is a beautiful car. The kit's been really good as well. No real issues with it whatsoever. If you can find this, I know it's really hard to find, and a lot of people are looking for it. I'd highly recommend getting this kit because it is a beautiful model to build. And there we go. So just gently going around and wiping off all that spray shine now. We're getting a nice, beautiful, high shine finish on our paintwork. So looking absolutely stunning. And there we go. One finished Alfa Romeo Giulia. Not perfect. None of my work is ever 100% perfect, but more than happy with it. The bright overhead lights are kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? They're not making the green pop like it should. You're going to see it pop in a minute properly as I see it. But beautiful model. Beautiful colour. Happy with the paint job. It's not perfect, as I always say. None of my work is. But happy with the contrasting colours. We've got the yellow calipers look fantastic as well. And here we go. There you go. That is the colour I see. Absolutely stunning. Beautiful looking car. Beautiful colour. And I've not made too bad a job of this one, I don't say so myself. So this is Alfa Romeo Giulia from Alfa Models. It was primed in Pro Scale Paints black and grey primer to make a nice dark grey primer. Several coats of Pro Scale Paints Montreal green from Alfa Romeo. We put some carbon trim on there. We 2K'd it in Pro Scale Paints 2K. The interior was Pro Scale Napa Black leather, along with the Alcantara trial paint that you'll see hopefully soon. We've got Pro Scale paints, anthracite flocking on the interior as well. On the brakes, we've got the carbon ceramic paint, we've got the Brembo yellow, dark gunmetal on the wheels as well. They were glossed, both the calipers and the wheels. All the bodywork was flatted back with the 3M Tri-Zip pads and polished up with the UMP polish system. And then the final thing was to give it all a quick wax and buff over with the Pro Scale paint shine. But what an absolutely stunning colour of a beautiful car. It really is. It's just such a pretty colour. And like I say, this was the colour I envisaged for this car from day one. And this here it is on my scale production diorama base. So yeah, there we go. Another great build off the bench. A kit I've wanted to build for a long time, in the colour I wanted to build it from day one. Like I say, if you can get this car, I would highly recommend getting it. And if you want to see this in more depth, in full 3-part video build series, you can follow the links down below, become a patron and get access to all my behind the scenes videos. So there we go. Let's go back to me for some final thoughts. So there we are. What can I say? Oh, so happy with that kit. It came out so well. Really nice kit to build, really high quality. I can't think of a single issue with that kit at all. And what a stunning colour. Absolutely beautiful colour. It is the colour for that car, like I said in the video. And I'm very happy how this one has turned out. Absolutely beautiful. If you're looking for this kit, go and get it because it is a stunning kit to build. And it is a very pretty car. I'm not an Alfa Romeo fan. I'm really not. There's not many of them I like at all. This is a car I think I quite happily own for sure. But yeah, there we go. Another build off the bench. What's next then? I'm trying to figure out where I'm at because you guys and ISM are a month behind. So we've still got the Mach 1 Mustang to be released, and then the Porsche 992 will be released as well. Over the next month they'll be released. There's a few reviews to come out too. And like I say, I know I keep going about it. I have to. It is my job. If you want to become a patron, you can link down below. You get up to a month's early access on all the videos. You get access to the full 3-part video build series and the condensed one early as well. I go a lot more in depth in those videos on all the techniques. I don't even show everything in these videos. You get access to all the reviews early. You get access to a Facebook exclusive messenger chat, a Facebook exclusive group. You get an exclusive Friday bench update every single week from me. You can also suggest reviews. You can talk to me, message me, whatever. And you can keep these videos going. Without your support from the patrons, I couldn't keep doing this. I rely on these. If you want to become a patron, you can cancel at any time. You can come over, have a look, see what I've got to offer. And if you like it, stick around. And if not, you can always cancel. There's always that option. You can pay monthly or yearly. It's up to you. There is a discount for paying yearly. And like I say, any and all support is greatly appreciated. There's a PayPal me link in the description down below, and a buy me a coffee should you wish to donate a one-off. And also down there is links to everything else, Pro Scale Paint, UMP Retail, everything on Facebook to do with me. You've got my personal modelling page, my Etsy store, and selling my built models. You've got an email address to get in touch with me as well. You've got links to my scale mates. There's just links to everything down there. All the products I use are linked in there as well. Go down and have a look. And of course, make sure you sub to the video, give the video a thumbs up, hit that bell notifications, get notified of the latest videos. And please leave a comment. Love reading all your comments down below. Always spurs me on with the builds. And I always try and reply to everybody if I can. So please leave a comment down below. Thanks to all my patrons for their continued support. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I'll be back soon with the next one. Enjoy the rest of the year, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.